Hey, how we doing, folks? It's been a while. I got a little short one here, I figure. It's been a while since I put anything up, so this has come in, and it's not too terribly involved, so I figured I would do a short video on this. This is a aircraft tow hitch. You've seen me fix the tow bars, the aluminum tow bars. I've made a video on that, I know. This is the piece that would go into the tow bar, and then this piece here, let's see, can we zoom? That's about as much as we can zoom out. This piece here is one of the pieces. There's many different ones for many different aircraft, but this is the piece that would actually attach, you know, to the aircraft. It's got these slide pins, and I guess every airplane is a little bit different, but this is one example of how they actually attach the tow bar to, I guess we'll call that a tow head, and then that's what actually attaches to the aircraft itself. And the complaint here is that this is loose, plus, let's see, you can see it here, let's see, you can see there's a little play in here, obviously. And it's a little loose. This part has spread. It's spread open a little bit. In fact, let's see. Can I zoom? Yeah, see? There you go. You can actually see there's quite a bit of light looking through there. And the problem with that is these bolts that come through to hold it. I've done one already of what I'm going to do. But the problem is the bolt comes through. Can I zoom in? There we go. The bolt that holds it, it's a shoulder bolt, and there's too much shoulder. So when you put the nut on, it's not, you know, it's not tightening up. What they did was they did try, you know, shimming around it with a wire, but they don't really want to do that because it's not really proper. They just want it correct. So what they asked me was to do, my assignment here is to squeeze this thing back to get it to a better tolerance, and then you can see I have already done one. See if I can machine a little of the shoulder off of the bolt here so that it sits flush with this piece, so that when they put the nut on, they usually just put the nut, lock washer and the nut. And this way they won't have to worry about it. Now this is a pretty well made thing. If you're looking at this, you can see this thing is very well constructed. Again, I guess they're pulling multi-million-dollar aircraft. You can see the workmanship that goes in. This attachment plate here is actually pierced through this thing, comes out this side, and it's welded continuously here and here, all around. And then it has these two bolts that hold it, but apparently, I'll take this apart in a minute. If you see this, there's this little pin with these bushings. It acts as a shear pin. Let me go around the other side of this here. If you pull this out, the idea is, I think it's that the pressure of this, because these holes are pretty well, so let me take this apart for you and show you here. There's the shoulder bolt anyway, as it comes through, and like I said, what they want me to do is machine a little of this shoulder off. I did the one already, and then there's this shear pin, and the idea being that if there's too much pull on this thing, this pin will break to let them know that they're, you know, that something has gone wrong. So I think it relies more on the clamping force of this than it does on the actual bolts going through it. But let's see, how the hell can I do this with one hand here? Let me see if I can pull this thing apart for us here. Let's see. No, I can't quite do it. Can I do this? Maybe I can switch here. All right, let me come back. Okay, I had to take it apart. Couldn't do it with one hand. You can see, again, the way this thing is, these holes are slotted And then there's this, like I said, there's this small shear pin that goes through here into these little bushings here, and then through this bushing here. And this is only a little, what is it, quarter, 3/16 thick pin. Again, I believe what it's designed to do is rely more on the clamping force of these bolts than it is, because I guess the idea being, if that pin there breaks, it'll slide, it'll kick back, and it'll reveal, because it'll stop it, I guess it will stop it right about here, and it'll reveal, I guess, that you've broken the shear pin, because now you'll have all that daylight up in here. So I guess that's the idea of it. So like I said, there's naturally, you know, this plate seems to be fine, doesn't seem bent or, but this plate, I don't know if we can even see it by eye. I guess you can see a little bit, right, maybe up in here. So what I'm going to try to do again is press this together just to get a little bit better fit. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but you know, you couldn't have it, you know, you'll never get it perfect, but I'm going to try to press it together so we get a little bit tighter fit here. And again, I've already done one. Let me zoom in on this if I can. I'll show you here. What I did is I machined a little bit of the shoulder off of these bolts. I did, and is it focused? Yeah, it is. I did the one, obviously I did the one on the left. I took about 75 thousandths off of it. And I didn't even have to go the full, you know, the full diameter down to the relief for the threads. Just enough so that it won't interfere. So like I said, I already took about 75 thousandths off of this one. I'll set this one up in the lathe and I'll show you what I did. Just, you know, again, it's not rocket science, but I'll do that to the other one. But I guess what I'll go about doing first is I'll go about trying to get this thing pressed a little bit better, you know, so we can tighten up a little bit on this dimension, because you can see obviously it flares. I guess you can see it by eye. It seems to flare out a little more up here, and it's a little tighter back here. So I'm just going to try to get it a little bit better. All right, I'll try to set something up on the press, and I'll try to bring you back for that. Okay, I'm set up in the press here. I guess you can see what I've done. I just got this to hold this up so this doesn't fall. The idea is, I hope I'm in frame here, this is just going to act as kind of like a governor in here. This is just about the thickness of the piece on the hitch there. So this is going to kind of act as my governor. I've spread the plates here just enough so that this bushing will seat in between. Again, this will act as my governor, and then we're just going to use this. Don't know how well, if I can zoom in, you can actually see it press or not, but let me see what I can do if I can zoom that in. We can actually, let's see, can we zoom this thing in to, like that maybe? Yeah, there we go, right? How's that? Whoop, that's good, Mike. There we go. Let's see, hopefully you'll see it squeeze back together. I mean, all right, here goes. Let's see what happens. that's a little better already. Maybe what we'll do is we'll remove this part. Can't see, I'm out of the frame. All right, that's a little better. I'm going to probably remove this and give it a squeeze without that. I'm going to do a little, I'm going to flip it over. Just do a little now from the other side. Same way. Okay. See now. There's a gauge. Oh, I like that. Okay. I think I like that very much. Oh yeah, I think that, I hope I'm in frame here for some, my damn hands are blocking it too, but I think, oh yeah, I like that. All right, yeah, I don't know if you can see, no, let me bring it over this way. Yeah, it's a little better. Oh, there you go, that's pretty much a better shot of it. I think that's gonna, they look nice and even now. We'll test fit it up on the piece, but I think that's gonna be pretty close. Judging by my, by my gauge here, there's hardly any wobble in it whatsoever. It seems very consistent, so I think that's going to be good. Let me get this turned around, and I'll point it back at where we're working. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Uh-oh. We have overbalanced the budget here a little bit, Mike. Okay, oh, there we go. There, oh, nice. There we go. Oh, look at that. Almost no play. Negligible wobble. Very nice. Now, okay. Now, let's see. Because this is very important. This shear pin, I want to make sure. Let's see, let me get this in frame here. Yeah, okay, good. This is important. Because if I over tweaked this thing, over squeezed it, then, that would probably spell chaos for this thing. But no, this is good, and that's good. Let me drop this back on, and I'll show you that bolt that I didn't machine down. How much? I'll try to come in on a close up there and see how much of the shoulder extra we have protruding through. And that's what I'm just going to try and trim off in the lathe. I'm going to put this back on, and okay, and I'll let me get this set up. Pop one of these things through here for you anyway, and just to hold it for now. Okay, just so it won't fall off of there. And then I'll come in close. I'll spin that bolt around, and I'll show you how the shoulder protrudes and what we're going to do just to trim that shoulder off on the lathe. All right, I hope that's getting the idea. That should be close enough. I can't quite do it. I got to do it off the tripod. I can't do it by hand because I got to mess around with this thing. But now you can see we got almost no wiggle room here. Here is the one that I've done already. I guess it was a pretty good guess. I took, I don't know, I think it was 75 or 80 thousandths off the shoulder here. And then this is the one here now that I'll have to do. Now, allowing also for that, it's not going to be that full amount because they get these on the head end, they get these aluminum tabs with these small lanyards, which hold like that's a lanyard that holds like this shear pin, for instance, and they both get this. So, but even so, by putting that, you can see we're still we got a long way to go. So let's see, how can I? Here's the amount of take up for the tab. Well, let me just measure it. Let me just measure it. You'll know. The thickness of this tab, I'm sure it's supposed to be a 16th because it measures just about 65 thousandths, this tab. So, I mean, I'm just going to do this just preliminarily here with the calipers, but I mean, even allowing for this tab, we have Oh, geez, we have 200 thousandths. So even if you want to subtract the 16th for the tab, you know, we've got a ways to go to take that down. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to cut this shoulder back. And I'm going to do it the same way I did this one. I'm not even going to go to the full root depth of the thread like I did here, because it's not necessary. You know, it's just not necessary. You know, there's going to be plenty of take up here. It's going to get a lock washer. There's no need to go even to the root depth of the thread, just slightly above it, you know, 10 thousandths or so less depth than the root thread, the thread root, I should say. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do a little math, figuring for this, and then I'm going to set the thing up in the lathe the same way I did over there. No big secret. I'll show you what I did. It's very simple, very straightforward. Because again, it's light cuts. And so let me do that. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way this, you can barely get any movement out of this at all. And then I'm sure once you tighten these two bolts, I mean, these are half 13 bolts. Once you tighten these, I'm very confident that we'll have, you know, pretty much a near zero movement, you know, flex in here. So yeah, so I think we're doing pretty well here. So like I said, let me remove this, well, actually just this one for now. Set that up in the lathe, and I'll try and bring you over there and show you what I'm doing there. Okay, we're over at the lathe. You can see what I've got here. I don't know, maybe the purists would scold me for this, saying that's going to spit out of the chuck or whatever. I don't think so, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm just gonna, you know, I haven't even tightened it yet. I'm not gonna indicate this in. I'm not gonna get carried away, because again, I need to take about 100 and, let me zoom in here. I need to take about 130 or so thousandths off of this shoulder going that way, and then I'm gonna take it down almost to the root of the thread there. Not quite, because again, it's not necessary. And I'm not going to indicate it in. I'm just going to, I don't know, I'm sure everybody, because that's another thing. I'm using a really sharp tool on this, so I don't think I'm making a lot of, you know, there's not a lot of, I don't think there's a lot of tool pressure on this. Just, like I said, I'm not going to indicate it in. I'm sure everybody's got one of these. I'm just going to use this deal here on my tool post just to, you know, just to take it and, you know, run it in up against the shoulder here as it rotates, just to, you know, just to get it to run pretty much true, and that'll be good enough. Then I'll give it a pretty good tighten. I don't know if I'll make it atom tight, but I'll make it tight, and I'll give it a pretty good tighten, and then that's it. I'm just going to come at it with a, like I say, what amounts to, you know, just a really sharp tool, and I'm just going to back it off, take the 130 thousandths away, and we'll see where that leaves us. All right. Okay, here we go. I think that's going to be pretty good. So, we're going to stop it there. We'll make it a little bit tighter as we go here. Going along. A little more tight. A little tighter. A little at a time. Okay. And run it again and see what we got. That's pretty darn good. I'm just going to come up and touch it again. Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, again, I'm not gonna put an indicator on it, but boy, I think we're pretty good there. A little bit more tightening, just to make sure. Yeah, we're pretty well socked down on this. I think that's sufficient for what I need to do to trim off, you know, to trim off very light cuts at, you know, 10 thousandths a shot, you know, to take that off of there. Let's just see what we got. Maybe you can get a better sight of it now. I think that's looking pretty good. I mean, you know, again, I'm not going to put an indicator on it because it's just not necessary, but I think we're pretty good there. Okay, so I'm going to switch this out on my tool post here and put that on the side. Like I said, I'm sure everybody's pretty much got one. These are very handy, by the way. They really do come in handy. And again, I made mine the way I did actually so that I can use it here. Let me bring this in a little bit. I can use it on this side of the tool post here, as you just saw. And I can also use it by taking it and turning it this way. I'm able to use it like this on this side of the tool post, so I can use it for, you know, something that if I want to need to get a face true. Same thing, just take it and invert it. Okay. All right, let me switch this out. Put a tool on. You know, I'm going to switch this. Put my tool on here. Get everything set up. Get some sort of a depth control thing here, and I'll bring you back. Okay, what I've done. Let's see. I've popped my tool in. Obviously, I've taken my tool, touched it off on. Let's see, can I zoom in more? Yeah, but no focus. Yeah, there we go. I've taken my tool here, and I took the tip of my tool and I touched it up on this shoulder here, right in here. And then what I've done, I've got my depth set. I've got my indicator back here, if you can see. There we go. I've got my indicator set so that when I come up just on 0 is going to be my finished depth. And then I'm just going to take my compound now, because I always leave my compound set at 90 degrees. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my compound. I zeroed it out, and I'm just going to take it and I'm going to dial 130 on my compound, and then that'll be fine, because I got my stop. Let me back this up. Got my stop set up here. So I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna come over here, dial my compound 130, then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use my indicator back here. I know there's a lot of glare, but I'm gonna use my indicator. When I hit my 0, that'll be my depth. So let me do that, and I'll bring you back. All right, I think we're ready to go here. Depth has been set on the compound. Like I said, I know where I am on my indicator. I've touched off my tool, so now I think we're ready to go. Now, start by making, I don't know, like I say, we're going to go that way, 10 thousandths at a time maybe. There we go. Nice and easy. Hopefully we won't spit it out of the chuck, and I don't think we will. There's 10. There's another 10. Nice and easy. These bolts aren't really all that hard. At least they don't appear to be. So I don't think that's, you know, again, I think that's another thing that's, you know, kind of working for me. It's not too hard a material. Again. 10 more. And so forth. I'll bring you back when I get close. Okay, this will be my final cut. Right up to it. And away we go. Right up against that shoulder. Okay, and then I'll just bring it back, bring the shoulder off, and that's it. And there you go. I'll take that off. I know the camera angle's not so great. I'll take this off and I'll show you what I've done here actually. Bear with me, ignore the shaky. There you go. Here we go. Let's see, can we get it to focus now? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. There we go. So there you go. That's all I did. Like I said, I just brought this back. Like I said, it's about 130 thousandths. Not even quite to the root, the root diameter of the thread. And I'm just going to take a file and just take the sharps off of this. That's all. And then I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. I'll clean that up and I'll bring you back. Okay, so let's see. Get this to file. All I did was I just dressed it, you know, here and there with a file, just to take the very sharp edges off. So now I'm good. I'm done at the lathe here. I'll take it out and I'll bring it back over and I'll try to show you how I'm going to assemble it. All right, so now we've got our bolts turned down. Let's see, there you go. Turn that shoulder back. Let's see, how close can we get here? Here we go. I've got that shoulder back. That's turned down. And again, it didn't have to go quite to the root of the thread, because again, what's going over it the only thing that can possibly intersect with that is the lock washer, and there's plenty of room there. So we've got our bolt turned down. We've got our little lanyards. Like I said, these are about a 16th thick. I think I might have said aluminum. It's actually stainless steel. Our stainless steel lanyard with tab. So that'll go like that. I've got nice new grade 8 lock washers and nuts. So this will fit in here, and you'll see, maybe let me pop this together, put the one in so I don't have to wrestle with this thing. You'll see how, let's see, can I zoom this in? There we go. You'll see how they're below the actual, they're actually a little slightly below the face of this plate, so that because there's still some room left to squeeze in this thing. So when I put on the lock washers, let me zoom back out here, and the nuts, the remaining squeeze that's in here, because again, this thing relies on they don't want to rely on the bolts. That's why these holes are slotted. It relies on the clamping pressure, and again, this little shear pin is an indicator that it's no longer clamped. The bolts hold it once it lets go, I guess. Once that shear thing lets go, these two bolts will hold it. So it relies on the clamping force, so that's why I made, you know, it's a little shy, so that the remaining room in this will squeeze up when we put our nice new bolts, I should say lock washer, there you go, Mike, our remaining lock washers and nuts on here, and then we'll tighten those up, and we should be in pretty good shape insofar as the squeezing of this thing goes. So let's see here, this, snug down a little, okay. And I think, there we go, be just good on this. That's it, Mike. Okay, and there we go. It's no movement whatsoever in there, because now it is the clamping force that's holding it. So, as you can see, the whole thing is moving in a vise. So, and yet the shear pin is still loose, that we can remove it and install it. So I think that's what's supposed to happen. It relies on the clamp force to hold the whole thing. So that's about it. So I guess that pretty much wraps this up, and we can get this back to the customer now. Don't know why that was like that. I don't know why these bolts, they tell me they came from the manufacturer of this thing. I don't know why that was like that, unless there's some significant wear in here somewhere. I don't know, but whatever. It is what it is. That's why they called me to ask me to do something with it. I can only imagine what what the value of something, like this must cost. And again, as I said, you can see the workmanship. This certainly couldn't be cheap. So anyway, so that wraps this up. I think we're good, and that'll be it. So again, I'll have some stuff coming up soon, I think, and that's it for now. If you enjoy what you see here, feel free to subscribe. And always remember, as some famous guy once said, everybody polka.